Hello, good morning. As our friend, the British Expat in the Philippines would say. I was just watching a video from him. And he was talking about, when you move to the Philippines and build a house, or maybe move in with your Filipina girlfriend, slash fiance, slash wife, whatever the case may be, that, he kept asking, what does she bring to the table? And say if, say she was working over here in the West with you and you move over to the Philippines. Hopefully I won't run over this guy on the bicycle here. He's like, well, we know what you bring to the table, but what does she bring to the table? And he kept saying that. I just started thinking back when I was young. I grew up kind of out in the country. All my dad's side of the family were all dairy farmers. My mom's side of the family were all coal miners. Southwestern Pennsylvania. My mom grew up back in the days when, like Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter, like you were, you owed your soul to the company store. And, my dad, born in 1920, grew up during the Great Depression. But, my mom, she didn't work outside the house. I mean, when she was younger, she did. But she had pretty bad arthritis her whole life anyways, too, which was partly, part of it. But as with many women back in those days, 60s, 70s, the wife stayed home. And it's not to say she didn't work, because she worked her ass off, My mom did all the cooking, all the cleaning, washing clothes, ironing clothes. I remember one time when I wrecked my bicycle and ended up needing 50 stitches in my lip. I was like 6 years old. And we got in, we had to, wait for my dad to come home from work, take me in town to the doctor. He's getting ready to stitch me all up. And he's like, it looks like we caught Mom doing her laundry. She still had her apron on. She was so freaked out when I came running in the house with blood all over me. And, but, that was just part of the daily life back then. Wait for the police officer to pull out. And there was no question about what did the wife bring to the table, we were always canning food and everything, and all this work we had around the house and things that she did and taking care of us kids, and all the cooking and cleaning, as I've already mentioned. And my dad went out and worked like a dog for his whole life. And that was kind of the accepted dynamic. The father worked, the kids did kid stuff, and the wife took care of all that stuff around the house and worked at home. So it's always kind of amusing to me when I hear these people who are supposed to be, like men, saying, well, what does she bring to the table? I guess a lot of guys move over to the Philippines thinking, well, I'll go over there with my little bit of my pension. And I know they don't want to lose what they have and all of that. But they're so paranoid about this stuff and this financial stuff. Yes, I know. Thank you, car. And, I just can't believe all this insistence on, well, what does she bring to the table? Like, if she's not working, and we all know over in the Philippines what people make over there for working, even when they're working incredibly hard jobs, 10, 12 hours a day is not very much, certainly, by our standards. And I just don't think if someone moves over there, especially if they're married and have a wife and they're talking about building a house, or maybe they're just renting, whatever, this constant, whining about what does the woman bring to the table. She's doing all kinds of work. She's probably taking care of all the cleaning and cooking and all kinds of other stuff. Especially if you're some old guy who's just sitting around making YouTube videos and useless shit like that. yeah, you're bringing in some money, you've got your pension and whatever, and keeping things afloat. But this, this idea, well, what does she bring to the table? I don't know. I just don't get it. It's just a silly question to me. If you're that desperate that you need, some woman in the Philippines to be working and helping support you and take care of your bills, you should not be moving to the Philippines. I mean, what the hell are you doing moving over to a foreign country where you know that no one makes any money and expecting them to like pitch in their fair share, especially when she's probably doing everything else around the house? Because a lot of these guys, I just don't picture them doing too much. Listening to them talk, they seem to be the kind of people who want to sit around and have somebody else take care of them and do everything for them. So, you have to wonder, what do they bring to the table except for their little check? I just don't get it. It seems like so disrespectful. If you're actually in love with a woman and you're not just over there looking for, a cheap piece of tail, let's put it bluntly, like a lot of people seem to be, and that's your wife and you love her and you're actually a team, this idea that you have to sit around and question all the time what's she bringing to the table is just really insane to me. So I don't know what my message is except to, just to express my amazement at the way some people talk about this stuff. But just to say, appreciate your wife. She's doing all kinds of stuff. You're over there, a stranger in a strange land, and she's helping you fit in, take care of stuff, do your shopping, help mediate for you and be your interpreter, and do all kinds of other stuff behind the scenes that you don't even know about half the time. And you're sitting there whining, what's she bringing to the table? I mean, I know maybe that's like an interesting topic to get views on YouTube from, other old guys who just want to complain and bitch about like, oh, don't take any of my pennies. But that's just my 2 cents on that.